Hello, Erode Sengundar Engineering College, Tamil Nadu is conducting GATE classes under AACT Perina scheme, which is a scheme for preparing SC/SC students for higher education. So today's session is about electronic devices and myself Uma from GateWin Academy. So we will start the session with drift current. So you all know that what do you mean by drift and diffusion, because these two are much important phenomena in electronic devices. So the diffusion will be termed as because of concentration gradient, that is from higher concentration side to lower concentration side there will be movement of charge carriers. Okay, so that is called as diffusion. Because of that diffusion phenomena there will be diffusion current. Okay, so this will be in the case of PN junction diode, but in case of any semiconductor or any material there will be drift current if you are going to apply an external electric field. Okay, so the diffusion is because of concentration gradient and the drift current will be because of external electric field which we are going to apply. Okay, so the definition of drift current will be, it is the flow of current to the material or device under the influence of electric field intensity, which is termed as capital E. Okay, so it occurs in metals and semiconductors because the metals will be called as conductors and the semiconductors will be having the energy gap of 1 electron volt, but in the case of metals you will not be having any energy gap between conduction band and valence band. Okay, in case of insulators you are having some 6 electron volt of energy gap between conduction band and valence band. Okay, now we are having the relationship between velocity. Okay, now we are going to apply an external electric field. Because of that external electric field the charge carriers will be having some velocity. Okay, that velocity will be termed as drift velocity Vd. Okay, so which is directly proportional to the applied external electric field. Okay, so now we are going to have the proportionality constant as mu, mobility, that is mu. So Vd, which is equal to mu into E. Okay, so Vd will be the drift velocity and E will be the external applied electric field intensity and mu will be the proportionality constant, which is termed as mobility. Okay, so the definition of mobility will be movement of charge carriers from one place to another place. Okay, so the drift velocity will be termed as because of the electric field intensity which is applied externally the charge carriers will be having some velocity. Okay, so that is termed as drift velocity. Okay, so now this is most important relationship between electric field intensity and the drift velocity. Okay, so based on this relationship we are going to have some equation, that is Einstein's equation. So in a semiconductor the ratio of diffusion constant to mobility will be termed as thermal voltage, which is equal to T divided by 11600. Now if we are going to have the reverse relationship, that is mu n divided by dn, which is equal to mu p divided by dp, which is equal to 1 divided by vt. Okay, so here the dn mu n will be having the terms, it is for n type semiconductor and the dp mu p will be for p type semiconductors. Okay, so if you are having the relationship in the reverse manner, then it will be equal to 1 divided by thermal voltage, which is equal to 11600 divided by temperature. Okay, so the dn will be termed as diffusion constant of electrons and the dp will be called as diffusion constant of holes. Okay, so the Einstein's relationship gives the relationship between diffusion constant, mobility and temperature. Okay, so D divided by mu, that is the ratio of diffusion constant to mobility, will be directly proportional to temperature. Okay, so if we are having the reverse relationship, that is the mobility to diffusion constant, it is equal to 1 divided by T. Okay, so this will be having the unit of volts and this will be having the unit of volts inverse, because you know that T divided by 11600, which is equal to Vt, that is called as thermal voltage. Okay, that's why we are having the unit volts here, volts inverse. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the temperature coefficients. Yes, because this is most important phenomena in all semiconductors, conductors and insulators. Okay, so basically we are having two temperature coefficients, that is called as negative temperature coefficient and positive temperature coefficient. Okay, so the negative temperature coefficient will be termed as any parameter decreasing with the temperature. Okay, so now if you are going to have resistance of semiconductor, you are going to increase the temperature, then the resistance of that semiconductor will be decreasing. Okay, so now in case of energy gap in a semiconductor, you are going to increase the temperature, the energy gap will be decreasing. Okay, same for mobility. If you are going to increase the temperature, the mobility will be decreasing. Okay, so this is most important phenomena in a semiconductor. So you are going to increase the temperature, some phenomena is decreasing. Okay, so that is called as negative temperature coefficient. So our semiconductor possesses negative temperature coefficient. Okay, so now in case of metals, okay, in case of metals or conductors, you will be having positive temperature coefficient. That is, you are going to increase the temperature, then the resistance will be increasing. That is, there is lack of movement of charge carriers, because there will be too many charge carriers will be hitting each other, so the resistance will be increasing and the current will be decreasing. In case of conductor, you are going to increase the temperature, right? Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the diffusion constant. What do you mean by diffusion constant of charge carriers? So electron diffusion constant will be termed as dN, okay, which is equal to mu n into Vt, and the whole diffusion constant will be termed as dP, which is equal to mu p into Vt. Okay, so it will be having the unit of centimeter square divided by second, because you know that the mobility will be having the unit of centimeter square divided by whole second, and the Vt will be having the unit of volt. This will be cancelled, and centimeter square divided by seconds will be unit of diffusion constant. Okay, so what do you mean by diffusion constant, or what is the definition of diffusion constant will be? So it is a material constant and is responsible for the property called diffusion. You all know that what do you mean by diffusion. So because of concentration gradient, that is from higher concentration side to lower concentration side, there will be movement of charge carriers. Okay, so that will be termed as diffusion. Okay, so for that diffusion we will be having a constant, that is a material constant value, that is called as diffusion constant. Okay, now we are going to discuss an most important formula, that is called as mass action law. Okay, so the concentration of electrons, it is having a product with concentration of holes, which is equal to a constant value, which is called as square of intrinsic concentration. Okay, now the mass action law will be defined as, in a semiconductor, that is both the case, that is intrinsic or extrinsic semiconductor, under thermal equilibrium. So this is most important point, because you are going to increase the temperature up to 300 Kelvin. After 300 Kelvin, that is beyond 300 Kelvin, you are not going to increase the temperature, so it attains thermal equilibrium, right? So the product of electron and hole concentration is a constant value, which is equal to square of the intrinsic concentration. Okay, so this will be termed as mass action law. Okay, now so this law, that is the mass action law, is mainly used for extrinsic semiconductor to calculate the minority carrier concentration. Okay, so now you need to find out what do you mean by minority and majority concentration in extrinsic semiconductor, because you know that in extrinsic semiconductors you will be having N type and P type semiconductor. Okay, now we are going to discuss about extrinsic semiconductor. Now what do you mean by extrinsic semiconductor? In the sense, we are going to dope, that is external impurity, with intrinsic semiconductors, that is called as pure semiconductor. Okay, so now you are having a pure semiconductor, that is called as intrinsic semiconductor with your hand. Now you are going to add some impurities to that intrinsic semiconductor, it will become extrinsic semiconductor. Okay, so based on the impurity you will be having N type semiconductor and P type semiconductor. Okay, so there are two types of doped semiconductors, that is called as N type and P type. Okay, so in N type semiconductor, the majority carriers will be electrons, so the minority carriers will be holes, and in P type semiconductors, the majority carriers will be holes and the minority carriers will be electrons. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about what do you mean by N type semiconductor and what do you mean by P type semiconductor. Okay, so now here Before going to discuss about the impurities, now we are going to discuss about the silicon and germanium, which is in the purest form, okay, which will be termed as intrinsic semiconductor. Now we are going to add the impurities. So based on the impurities, we will be having n-type and p-type semiconductors. So these two are now in pure form, which is termed as intrinsic semiconductor, okay. So the atomic number of silicon will be 14 and the germanium will be 32, and this will be the split up of electrons, okay. So both are, that is the silicon and germanium, are fourth group elements, so that it will be having 4 valence electrons, okay. Now we are going to introduce impurity atoms that have 5 valence electrons, that will be termed as pentavalent impurities, so such as antimony, arsenic and phosphorus to this purest form of silicon, okay. So here the atomic number of silicon will be 14, and we know the distribution of electrons between energy levels, so this is the fourth group element, so it will be having 4 valence electrons at the outermost cell, okay. So this is the crystalline structure of silicon. Before that, you need to find out what do you mean by pentavalent impurities, that is what are the pentavalent impurities available. So antimony, arsenic and phosphorus will be the pentavalent impurities. So pentavalent impurity in the sense it will be having 5 valence electrons in its outermost shell, okay. So now, so this is the crystalline structure of silicon. You are going to introduce the phosphorus, which is nothing but a pentavalent impurity, which is having 5 valence electrons to this crystalline structure, okay. So it may occupy any place in the case of n-type semiconductor, okay. So now the silicon which is present here is replaced by the phosphorus, which is a pentavalent impurity, so it will be having covalent bond, so which is nothing but sharing of electrons between the neighboring silicon atoms, okay. So after doping, okay, so here one electron, here one electron, here one electron, here one electron, which is bonded with the neighboring silicon atom, which is called as covalent bonding, that is the sharing of electrons between neighboring atoms, okay. So the fifth electron is not having any covalent bond, so it is loosely coupled. If you are going to increase the temperature, then it will gain some energy and it will break this bond, that is the force between nucleus of phosphorus and this electron, okay. Now it will become free electrons, okay. So now we created the free electron, which is free to move inside this lattice, okay. So because of this additional levels, that is the additional energy levels are created in the energy gap, because we know that in the semiconductors we will be having valence band and conduction band in the energy band diagram, okay. So this is called as energy gap, okay. So in between this energy gap there is, so no energy levels are created in between this energy levels, okay. That is the conduction band and valence band in the energy gap, okay. This will be termed as forbidden energy gap. So in the forbidden energy gap, before doping, there is no energy levels will be permitted, okay. So after doping, in case of n-type semiconductor, so you are going to dope with a pentavalent impurity with intrinsic semiconductor, so there will be extra energy level will be created, that will be called as donor energy level ED, okay. So it will be below the conduction band, okay. So the conduction band energy level will be EC and the valence band energy level will be EV, okay. So here the energy gap between these two will be EC minus ED, okay. So this is 0.01 electron volt for germanium and 0.05 electron volt for silicon, okay. So this will be termed as n-type semiconductor, okay. So in the donor energy levels we will be having donor electrons, that is the fifth electron from the donor atom, okay. So in case of p-type semiconductor, we are having pure silicon or germanium with our hand. Now we are going to dope with impurities which is having 3 valence electrons, that is called as trivalent impurities, okay. So for example, boron, gallium, indium, aluminium will be termed as trivalent impurities, which is having 3 valence electrons, okay. So this is the crystalline structure of silicon. So the boron atom will be replaced here, okay. So already it is having 3 valence electrons, so one will be here, one will be here, one will be here, okay. So these 3 will be forming covalent bonding with neighbor silicon atoms, and there will be a free vacant place, okay. So this vacant place will be filled by the neighbor electron, okay. So it will break the covalent bond and it will move to this vacant place, okay. So it will break the covalent bond when we are going to increase the temperature, okay. So now it will move to this vacant place and it creates a hole here, so that is called as p-type semiconductor, Okay, so this is the flow. So while doping, there is a vacant place, and the electron which is already in the covalent bond, it gains some energy if you are going to increase the temperature, and it moves to this vacant place and it creates a hole here. Okay, so now the boron is accepting an electron from neighboring silicon atom, so we can term this boron as acceptor ion. Okay, so negatively charged acceptor ions. Okay, and it makes a hole also. Okay, so because of this acceptor atoms, there is extra energy level which is called as acceptor energy level is created above the valence band energy gap. Okay, so the energy gap between EA, that is the acceptor energy level, to valence band energy level will be 0.01 electron volt for germanium and 0.05 electron volt for silicon. Okay, so this is most important case. Okay, and the doping levels will be moderate doping 1 in 10 to the power of 6 to 10 to the power of 8 atoms, and lightly doping will be 1 in 10 to the power of 11, and heavily doping will be 1 in 10 to the power of 3. Okay, so 1 in 10 to the power of 6 in the sense for one impurity. Okay, so for 10 to the power of 6 atoms, there will be one impurity atom added. So okay, so this is called as doping levels. So rest of the sessions will be continued later. Okay, bye bye, thank you.